pit exit is now open. Free practice has started.
So, 3 hours of free practice. Like free practice one yesterday, Anthony, this is a big slice of track time, and this is absolutely critical. It's your really last chance to set the car up for the race. There's a 1 hour night session, but that's going to be working on different elements of it. We expect hot weather for much of the weekend. This is going to be absolutely critical track time.
Yeah, lots of rain as well this morning, and that's definitely cleared the circuit. We've seen a lot of incidents in feeder series, other categories out here this weekend. Maybe that's a result of a green track. It would have washed away a lot, if not all of the rubber that was laid down yesterday, and the track was in a good place yesterday, so the driver's going to have to be relearning. On top of that, we've had a shift in wind direction. We've now got a headwind down the Mulsanne Straight, so a tailwind taking you down towards turn 1.
That means that the number 7 Toyota is well in with the shots there, because they're going to start 16, so they've got 24 hours to pass 15 cars.
Stats are there to be broken.
Now then, looking at the 46 BMW, Ahmed Al-Hati went really well in this car in qualifying yesterday, put them right at the top of the pile in LMGT3, while Hypercar were out on their own, 21 cars on track. LMP2 and LMGT3 were out in a mixed session, but actually the issue was more with red flags than traffic, I think, for most of the drivers. But Ahmed Al-Hati did a great job. So the bronze drivers, again, Graham, different format here. The bronze drivers had to go in qualifying yesterday in LMGT3.
Correct. Yes, he did.
Ahead of last year's winners, the 50 Ferrari and the number 6 Porsche, that was excluded from qualifying yesterday for being underweight. But in the second free practice, going into the evening, number 8 Toyota, quickest of all, 3 minutes 26.1 compared to a 3:25.1 in the earlier session. So the number 8 Toyota shows that both cars have got pace. And Toyota, the way they operate the car, Anthony, is their single biggest strength. From 13th on the grid, by the way. I mean, that was a rocking race from the 20 crew back in Italy.
But watch as well, these Cadillacs fastest yesterday in qualifying for the Cadillac Hertz Team Jota car, but all 4 into Hyperpole 1. And they've got a sense of purpose about them, gentlemen, that's somewhat ominous. 50
in the garage with work going on. Again, not really what you want to see on Thursday of race week at Le Mans. 20 is in as well for adjustments. Now, if you make anything other than a very minor adjustment or cleaning the screen and the brake ducts, you do push the car into the garage, because you can then use as many mechanics as you like, whereas you can only have 4 people working on the car on the pit aprons.
On the left, and then a bit on the right as well. Use all you can on the exit. They're watching the track limits there. And then drops down, back down the hill towards turn 5. Let's try again.
Small vibrations on the tires already is not nothing to be worried about, but just make sure that we have balanced wheels.
Yeah, so he's got 15 lap old tyres on at the moment, so you are limited in free practice sessions and qualifying that we had yesterday with 6 sets total. And most teams using the medium tyre.
On board with Le Mans resident, or Le Mans born, Sébastien Bourdais, no longer resident in France, lives in the US. The 3 Bs in this car, Mighty 38, Bourdais, Button, Bamber. Makes it easy even for me to remember the car lineup. But it wasn't the fastest of the caddies. Fastest of the caddies was a lap from Alex Lynn in the other gold Hertz Team Jota car, number 12. But all 4 Cadillacs made it through into this evening's Hyperpole. So all 4 of them were in the top 15. And there is plenty of potential in this V-Series R.
Pretty much the same program in terms of tyre compound and age at this point anyway.
In qualifying yesterday, the Peugeots were 2.3 and 2.6 seconds away from the fastest time. Malte Jakobsen's best lap so far is 3.5 away, and Jean-Eric Verne 7 seconds away. So closing the gap in race trim doesn't seem to be happening. It seems to be a yawning chasm opening up. Mind you, number 7 Toyota is also over 6 seconds behind the fastest lap of the 51 Ferrari.
And that's with an improvement last time around from Mike Conway. 2 classes than Hypercar. United Autosports top both, and in LMP3 it's both the McLarens at the top of LMGT3 at the moment. 59 ahead of 95. 30th anniversary of McLaren's win here in 1995.
And for those who are at the track, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 McLaren F1 GTRs in the museum.
Indeed.
Including the winning Ueno Clinic car, the Harrods car that finished in 3rd place, 2nd in GT. Spike the Dinosaur, the livery of PJ's LMP2 car. See that Rexy, the T-Rex, which is the colours of their Porsche GT3 car, is enjoying a little holiday in Paris on the way down here. So we'll be seeing Spike the Dinosaur and Rexy undoubtedly on the grid on Saturday morning. And that is at Marshall's Post 35.
That's the Ford chicane.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
So that may need assistance.
Yeah, you can see the rubber lines just on the penultimate corner. Just spun it round on the left.
It's the 54. So that is the 54 car, and that car has who at the wheel at the moment?
Yeah, Thomas Floor.
It's Tom.
Yeah.
And that is properly beached, isn't it? So not going to get out of there under its own steam. It's going to need, here it comes, the digger to pick him up.
What happened here?
Yeah, so just lost it on the left.
I'm afraid.
You see the GT cars take a lot of that curb as well. Maybe it was just a little bit too much that time. And another victim of the low grip surface that we have today.
There is the 81 car. I beg your pardon, there is the 33 car. So the 2 Corvettes are effectively yellow and black, but 33 has got a yellow roof and a wind sticker in the front, and the 81 has got more black on the roof. This is 54.
Coming back. Yeah, this is coming back after its gravelly moment.
So, of course, it's had to do a whole lap because they would have got it going back on the racetrack from out of the final corner.
Was that evidence there of some metal shavings falling out that wheel?
Possibly. Yeah, because, oh yes, lots of swarf. Because gravel tends to machine things off the rim, so yeah that'll be going back into the garage. You would hope. So looking in LMGT3 then,
was there a touch there between those two?
Yes.
I think they did actually make
Toyotas are hitting things all over the place. That's the 21 Ferrari. Now, that car, in fact, neither of the Vista AF Corsa Ferraris really producing the pace that I was expecting to see from them. Having said that, obviously, one of them's probably going to win the race, but they've been super competitive. They've been the car to beat all year in LMGT3. They're not here. So McLaren, WRT, Manthey with their 92 Porsche, TF Sport with the 81, Corvette, Kessel Racing's Ferrari. I mean, all of these cars and a lot of, a number of the newcomers are in front of our points leaders. I'm really quite surprised by that. 10th place in LMGT3 on race pace. Not sure that's a happy place to be, even for a Vista AF Corsa Ferrari. Ooh, that's number 9 now. Is that still Jonas Reed at the wheel of that car?
That is Jonas Reed.
And he's only just left the pits.
That's down at Indianapolis, isn't it?
It
Turn
is.
11.
Now, has he just nosed that in, or has that made a more substantial contact? Either way, the only route of that is going to be at the end of a rope. A favoured spot for those looking for an incident.
Such a tricky braking zone. Yeah, you just lock the fronts and turn in, and obviously the thing doesn't steer anymore. As the contact's not the biggest issue, it's just getting stuck in the gravel trap. And
there's the crane lifting out the number 9 car. And Anthony, this is one of the tests they now do in the Pesage and the scrutineering in the middle of town. Each of the cars has to have a set of socket holes in the roof, and every crane has a bar with little hooks that go into them, so the cars have to be able to be lifted up very easily. It's not ratchet straps or any of the other nonsense. It's a very simple, quick click into place, and then you can lift the car out as quickly as possible.
I just felt a bit uncomfortable being the driver sitting in the car, though, and it's a lot of trust in that mechanism to hold the car swinging around in the air while you sit inside it, and you think, if this thing falls now, I'm going to break my back.
Yeah.
It's such a stiffly sprung car. It's not going to be it's an uncomfortable drop if it happens, but luckily it doesn't. And they have to balance either end of it because of the weight distribution of the car as well.
So when they will recover you, you need to shake off the gravel first, off track and offline before rejoining.
You're not the first to say, actually, I was kind of distracted by the track for the first time. And I sort of think that there ought to be a rookie session where first timers just go out and drive the track for half an hour just to get that out of the system, and then they can really focus a little bit. This is the 83 Ferrari that's second quickest, just slightly miscuing the entry to the pit lane there, Anthony.
Yeah, not the first car we've seen do that this weekend, and you're always trying to push the limits, aren't you, into that series of corners, because it's not actually where the pit lane speed limit is. You're far from it at that point on the track. What's caught your eye so far, though, here, Chris? Who do you think's, who's your money on?
Well, Ferrari are hard to look past, but you never know, do you? It's always the question, who's shown their hand so far? And I just love seeing the Valkyrie out on track. That's the first time I've seen it. Sounds amazing. There's a real fan's favourite. I mean, obviously you have fans that are behind one particular manufacturer, but I think for neutral fans, it's cool to see a V12 in there. And I'm just so excited that there is a really broad spectrum of manufacturers in the top class. Whoa.
There's another one.
Martin.
Is there some gravel down there in the chicane? The number of cars that have gone off, I think there rather might be.
We were watching up in the Ford Hospitality. It's just next to the two chicanes, and yeah, so many seem to be getting their entry wrong to it, carrying too much speed in and a couple into the gravel. And there must be some gravel on the track. Oh dear.
It was blue and black. I thought, hang on a minute, that's the 25 Algarve Pro car. It's not. It's the Pure Racing, CLX Pure Racing car.
It's on the Mulsanne.
Yeah, so he's clipped the barrier. I imagine he's outbraked himself into the chicane.
This is Alex Malikin, by the way, silver rank driver. Russian driver, but flagged in St Kitts Nevis nowadays is his racing licence. And yeah, I think he has clipped the barrier and exit, you think? That's where it would normally be there.
Yeah.
I'm about to see it.
Yeah, running wide.
Oh, he's trying to avoid the skid from the Nine Dames. So,
that was driver error, but not Alex Malikin's driver error. And there must be a lot of that, particularly when you're released in a pack like you are from the support pit lane. Chris, everybody's like whoosh out together. And actually, perhaps the slight trepidation of the track is why Chris Harris got a clean qualifying session. But by your session, yeah, we're all up for this. We're gonna large it, and then it all goes a bit.
That's a great excuse. I'll take that. There's something about it, and I think France do it really well. Like the Tour de France is another example that it's something that you don't have to be into motorsport to love Le Mans. You don't have to be into bikes to appreciate the Tour de France. And yeah, I think it's. Oh, there we go.
That was high speed.
Yeah. Now, didn't get to see the beginning of that, only the aftermath. Yeah, just ran out wide and offline, trying to go by the 90 Porsche.
Carrying too much speed in, I'm afraid, and trying to make the corner safely. But he is going to get that car back to the pits.
The drama's up at Indianapolis. What do we have here? Ferrari powering its way past 13 Chevrolet, and a brush between the two of them. 51 is James Collado, and at the wheel of number 13 at the moment is rookie Ore Fidani.
It's almost as if he doesn't even know that's happened.
Yeah,
it's such a small tap, wasn't it? I know obviously James just trying to open up the entry to the corner, but fortunately there was a Corvette there.
Yeah, welcome to Le Mans, right? And off the road at the first of the chicanes goes on his next lap, James Collado. So he brushes past one car, and that has a slight drama of another sort. 40 minutes are on the clock. You can't argue with the fact that he's pushing, can you? We're on board with Robin France in number 20 BMW. Again, BMW, much more competitive mark this year than last, with the number 20 entry having been second at Imola. So the BMWs last year, it was Dries Vanthoor, wasn't it, that got roughed up a bit by Robert Kubica in the night. But they're hoping for better fortune this year. Number 5 then heads up towards the end of the lap now. This car, which is the Julian Andlau, Michael Christensen, Mathieu Jaminet entries. Got Jaminet at the wheel, it's 4th at the minute. And look at that, track to himself. 4 fastest. So at the moment, you've got Porsche, Ferrari, BMW, then Cadillac, then BMW to round out the top 6. It's getting tasty for Hyperpole, this, isn't it?
Certainly, yeah, and even looking at LMGT3 as well, we've got all the different brands up there, right down to the, we've got a couple of Ferraris, BMW, Lexus, United Autosports, Porsche up there. So no, it's I think overall this is going to be a real good session later on.
Not been aware of a yellow flag anywhere, but a full course yellow is coming. This might be a test for the teams, or it might be for a little bit of debris somewhere that we've not spotted. But a full course yellow is called, so everybody now slows right down. Johnny, how is that information from race control communicated to you in the car? Does it go directly to you or via a team, or how does it work?
You've got a monitoring car from the ACO that will count you down. But the big thing is the engineer will count you down, and you're literally pushing the limit. You're trying to get down to 80k as safely as you can, but at the same time you're pushing that boundary of speed right to when it does go FCY.
All right, Toyota number 8 goes back out. This car picked up a little bit of damage late on yesterday, but it has exited the pit lane now with Brendan Hartley at the wheel of it, and 11th is where you find it in the times. 20 minutes to go then. The last 20 minutes of free practice before Hyperpole. There's another hour in the darkness, 11 o'clock till midnight, local time. And that's the final bit of nighttime running. That's not going to be chasing a time. That's purely set up. It's purely getting drivers that maybe didn't do the requisite 5 laps last night through the process. So it'll be a totally different feel to the session. But right now, this just feels a lot more competitive than it did half an hour ago.
Yeah, as we approach the end of the session, we've talked about the next time the cars are on track will be Hyperpole, so they've got to get their qualifying driver in, hopefully maybe get a set of tyres on it, dial down the setup. So earlier in this session they probably would have worked on the race setup, but now they've got to work on the qualifying setup.
Aitken getting a replay here of a troubled 28 out of LMP2. That's the Paul Lafargue Job Van Aert at 3-wheeler that he shares with Sebastian Alvarez. And a fine time to leave me loose wheel. Into the gravel it goes. Does it stand upright? Not quite. It's going to sit itself down.
That will not go down well with the steward's office either, if that was not attached properly.
It's done well to last as long as it has, if it has been put on the pits, or if it's been hit a curb or come off through an issue. But
yeah, because that wasn't an outlap, so strange one that. What's impressive is how the car's able to come back on 3 wheels with barely a scratch.
I'm sure there's a few scratches underneath that we can't see.
So Porsche, Cadillac, Ferrari, BMW is the top 6. And if you're wondering what to do later on, make sure you are with us for Hyperpole. It's going to be really, really good, no question about it. Right, there is 51, James Collado, going through Indianapolis once again. Right, so to Arnage goes James Collado. He's not going to be improving on this lap, that's for sure. And you had David Pittard talking to Sean Galal about track limits. Well, Sean's back under investigation. Not for the first time, in fact, is that car under investigation, because it had to serve a 5-minute stop-go early on in the session for track limit offences, did the Galal, Darren Lung and Marino Sato McLaren. Right, this is James Collado's view. He's certainly pushing on.
So if Sean Galal has 6 track limits, there's a fair chance he will not start the Hyperpole for 5 minutes. While all the other cars drive around, he might not get out on track because they'll give him basically a stop penalty before the session begins.
Right, checkered flag is out as the session comes to an end, and a lot of work has been done on number 5. Now, this is the car that's fastest, so they've got that really good lap time in. We saw it have a bit of a rattle over the curb, but ever since, it has spent the time in the garage. Now, is that because the team is happy, the pace is there, and they can now start to prepare for Hyperpole, or do we think there's something a bit more sinister?
It's just the execution. They just know exactly how to execute the end goal, which is to get to the end as fast as possible, and every person in their own department, whether it's mechanics, drivers or team, has to be on top form.
So let's look at the top 10 then. It is Porsche, Cadillac, Ferrari, BMW, Porsche, Cadillac, Ferrari and BMW behind that. There you've got the 11th to 20th order. Hypercars lock out the top 21, the troubled 93 Peugeot being at the bottom of Hypercar with that hydraulic failure. In LMP2, top time going the way of the TDS Racing entry, which is also therefore the quickest in Pro-Am from United Autosports from Inter-Europol competition. And then in LMGT3, the Heart of Racing team, Aston, right at the very end as well. Zach Robichon on his last lap going fastest ahead of Richard Lietz and then Finn Gersitz in the Lexus. Third in the times.